Hello? Okay. Welcome everyone. So my name is Monika Peryt and I will talk today about remote work and Scrum in distributed teams. Eva has already introduced me, but I will only add that I joined KMD 2 years ago during the pandemic, and right from the beginning I was working in distributed team, and this will be a topic for today. Hopefully all of you will find something interesting. For you and your teams, I have 3 goals for this presentation. First one is to emphasize that remote work concerns all of us. Second one is to stress that remote work can work, but we need to provide supportive environment. And third one is highlight that effective teams are built by maximizing team productivity, not individual productivity. So we will talk about how to keep unity and take care of camaraderie within the teams. So let's start. Okay. Remote work is a new reality based on research. I have read many research preparing this presentation. Actually, I've gathered some good reference lists, so if someone is interested, I can share it after the presentation. And the trend is obvious that hybrid work and remote work popularity increasing year by year. So that's the fact, we cannot negotiate with it. That's why leaders puzzle over how to make hybrid work. And that's why many concerns and doubts appeared, among others, can we do Scrum in distributed teams? Because we have in Agile Manifesto this principle that the most effective way of communication is a face-to-face conversation. So we will talk about benefits, challenges, and factors that we need to focus to make it the most effective. Okay, I have already mentioned some terms like remote work, distributed teams, and collocated teams. There is no simple dichotomy between collocated teams and distributed ones. There are many different setups. I think that's important to learn what is your setup that you are working on a daily basis, because all of them have some benefits and risks, so it's important to know them. In KMD, we have teams composed of workers from India, Denmark, Poland. So we are all our communication is remote. One important aspect that we should take care of is to learn other culture. I mean, it will make the communication and whole collaboration much easier when we will know how people are making decisions, how they are defining the role of work in their lives, and what are their values. So that's important when we are working in distributed teams. Okay. Remote work is nothing new, but pandemic demanded it from us, and it's definitely more popular now. Why we are enjoying this remote work that much? So first of all, the main popular benefit is that it gave us great flexibility, so work-life balance. We don't have to resign from anything. We can wake up, eat a breakfast with our families, brew a coffee and drink it from our favorite mug, and in a minute later join a business call. Also, we don't need to spend hours commuting to work every day. That's really important. Very often we are always heard that people can focus better when they are working from home because there are less noises and less disturbance that sometimes from the open space we can met. But there are also benefits from the employer perspective. So access to a wider pool of talents. I think this is the benefit and also argument why it will not change, because we cannot just easily decide that, okay, we will hire people only from our city or only from our country because we are missing specialists. Also, my colleague sent me an article with this specific title, that introverts can shine. So as you can see, different people, different perspective. There are also some risks. So the main one is feeling of isolation. So during the pandemic, it was the very popular one, but we were not prepared. We cannot compare this environment to the one that we have now. But it's definitely harder to form new relations when we are working from home. So remote work also can affect communication and trust. It doesn't need to, because we can take care of it and prepare the teams for it using specific tools and make sure that they have all things that they needed. But we need to be careful about that, because it's definitely harder to build trust and feeling of unity working remotely. Okay. So before we will move to the main question, does the Scrum work in distributed teams? Key takeaways. Remote work is omnipresent and it won't change for now. Remote culture is very important regarding the efficiency, and we need to have it on our mind. And that management has really important task to do, noticing employees' needs and make sure that they are visible for them. Okay, so is collocation a prerequisite for success with Scrum? No, it isn't. So nowhere in the Scrum Guide we have mentioned that we need to have people on site. However, in Agile Manifesto, we have this principle that I have mentioned already, that the most efficient and effective method of conveying information is face-to-face conversation. But the world has changed and we need to adapt. So I think we have replaced it with our videos on, with an eye to verbal and non-verbal communication. There is also this principle that we need to build project around motivated individuals. So making sure that we provide them specific hardware and tools, and then of course focus on the interactions. There's also very nice practice in extreme programming. The name is Sit Together, and that predicts that the more face time you have, the more human and productive the project are. If you have a multi-site project and everything is going well, keep doing what you are doing. But if you have problems, think about ways to sit together more, even if it means traveling. Okay, so we know that this is not a prerequisite. However, we have some factors that we need to focus on to make it more efficient. I'm assuming that all of you have familiarized with Scrum framework, but let's quickly remind few facts that will be needed to understand following slides. So Scrum is a framework for building products in complex environments. So complex environment means that we cannot predict that practices that we have known will work in this particular situation. We have 3 roles: product owner, Scrum Master, developers, accountabilities actually. 3 pillars that help us verify our assumptions, because this is empirical process: transparency, inspection, adaptation, and 5 Scrum values: focus, openness, respect, commitment, and courage. What is the most important in our work? So no matter how we work, at the end of the day, it's all about deliver value to the client. So I found very, I think, nice, in my opinion, a metaphor of a Scrum team. So this stool has 3 legs. Each leg is one accountability in Scrum, so developers, product owner, Scrum Master. On the stool, we have 5 books that imitate Scrum values, and this vase at the top present business value, fragile construction. So I think it very nice exemplifies why collaboration is that necessary, because if we have one leg broken or we are missing a book or 2, it may have negative effect on our value delivery. Those values, why are they that much important? Because I think when you have a group of people and they lived by the same values, it's the first step to become a team. Scrum values are lived differently by each Scrum team, and it's hard enough to do even when we are physically in the office. And the complexity of remote work make it even harder. But there is an exercise that you can conduct within your team to ask them how they are consider that those values are modeled physically and in the remote environment. What are the differences? Why is that important? Because we are all guilty of interpretation bias, so open dialogue about our behaviors might be vital to keep healthy and value-delivering team. Good. But what are other factors that makes a group of people a team? So I think the most intuitive one is a common goal, so a sense of mission. In Scrum, we have a product goal as a long-term objective and a sprint goal as a short-term one. So it's very important to communicate them transparent way and make sure that all of us have the same understanding, that we are all on the same page. Clear work requirements. So this is something that is always important, not only in remote work, but it might help us to keep the workflow fluent. So optimizing the amount of uncertainty. So maybe you can consider having more often backlog refinement meetings. Values I have mentioned, and trust, hopefully it will appear when with time, but I think that when people have the same values, it will appear sooner than later. An internal team contract also very important, not only in remote environment. So this is how we work as a team. I will share with you some exemplary questions that you can conduct during preparation of that internal contract. So how do we contact each other on a daily basis? How do we schedule conversations? How do we indicate our availability? In my team, we have separate channel to inform if we are have a 1 hour break or something. How do we collaborate on design activities? Maybe we can agree on some specific tools. How do we do team meetings? Who facilitate them? So can we, for example, as a team agree that before we will add something to our calendars, we will make sure that this meeting has an agenda and goal, and maybe even indicate a facilitator for this meeting. It might be an example of respect value. What are our bonds about what we would like to not have jokes? And how do we handle our boards? So actually how we work as a team. When you mix this one with this exercise about values, you will receive kind of your team playbook, so how we work as this group, specific group. Okay, I also asked my colleagues what are their practices to keep team unified and to take care about this camaraderie. And we all agreed that the main philosophy should be keep it human and remember that beyond the monitor there is a person. So this is an example of their practices. So as you can see, if it's possible, organize on-site team meetings. So we are flying to our coworkers to Denmark. They are visit us in Warsaw. The more practices like online coffee talks, some videos, games via online and stuff like that will make it even more human. One-on-one meetings, of course, videos on, and everything that will keep it human. So that's the main motto, let's say. To conclude this presentation, I would like you to understand that just because people are in the office doesn't mean that they will collaborate effectively. There are some factors that no matter how we work, we need to focus on and make sure that we are thinking about them on the daily basis. So when we will have a team that can rely on each other and support each other, it doesn't matter where they work. And the debates about remote work will never go away, but for knowledge workers, it's actually pretty sure that we will be working with people that are in different locations, even if we will be in the office. So different people, different needs, different styles. We need to be mindful of how we work. And and making sure that we are providing people what they need to work effectively. Remote work is the future. The future is ours. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much.